Hello everybody, my name is Codline3639. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one is going to be another dueling video, and in this one it's going to be Phantom Knights taking on Invoked Mekk-Knight. Yeah, very interesting. We're in the new format. No more Protoss. We're dealing with a lot of new stuff that's coming off the ban list as well, and probably skills range is probably going to be the most game warping out of all of them. But in this matchup, hopefully we don't have to see it. I don't think either deck will be really playing it. But yeah, Phantom Knight's probably going to be one of the best decks in the format with the new Brave stuff, not really getting hit in the ban list as well, Side Stilps being a card you have to deal with. And then for Invoked Mekk-Knight's always been a deck. They only lost like one Nadir, so you don't have to really worry about this deck getting hit as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So Phantom Knight player is on the bottom, and the Invoked Mekk-Knight player is on the top. And the Phantom Knight player ended up winning RPS, so he will choose to go first here. And just taking a look at the hands, we got for the Phantom Knights here, we got the Rite of Armesier, we got a Wandering Griffin Rider, another Rite of Armesier, Silent Boots, and a Forbidden Droplet. Again, not the best hand in the world, but he can unbrick himself out of this. And then for the Invoked Mekk-Knight player, we got Alistair the Invoker, Magical Meltdown, evenly matched in the main deck, the Mekk-Knight Blue Sky, and then Terraforming as well. So without further ado, let's get into the duel here. So yeah, we'll start off with Rite of Armesier for the Phantom Knight player, who will summon out a token and then get the Journey of Destiny from deck. And then we'll do Wandering Griffin Rider to special itself out, and then the Fateful Adventurer will add ourselves the Dracoback Steed. And then we'll go ahead and do Fateful Adventurer to add the Water Enchantress, and then discard the token or the equip spell, and then equip the equip spell to the token once it hits the graveyard. And then since we do control a Brave token, we'll go ahead and summon out the Water Enchantress. We'll know when to summon Silent Boots, and then make a Cherubity, trigger the effect sending Torn Scales. Then we'll trigger Silent Boots effect, banishing itself. And then we'll go ahead and pick up a Wings here, and then we'll go ahead and do Torn Scales affecting Graveyard, and then trigger Torn Scales effect, discarding the Wings here to go ahead and send Ancient Cloak. And then we'll trigger Ancient Cloak effect here to get Silent Boots from deck. And then we'll go ahead and special summon Silent Boots, so we never did special summon it through its own effect. We'll go summon a Leviair. Leviair effect will trigger, discard detaching Boots to summon Ancient Cloak. Then we'll do Wings effect here, summoning out back the Silent Boots. Then overlay into a second Leviair. Go Leviair effect, detach the Boots, and summon out Boots from the banished area. And then we'll go ahead and make F0 Utopic Future Dragon here. And then we'll go ahead and go into a Link 3 into Rusty Bardiche. Trigger Rusty Bardiche to send Gloves and set a Fogblade. And then we'll go ahead and do Water Enchantress to add the third of Rite of Armesier. And then we'll do Gloves effect here. Send the Fogblade. And then actually, nothing, I forget. I was rushing myself here. We'll go ahead and set one card, and we'll pass to the Invoked player here. So it's really just dealing with two negates here. We're dealing with Wandering Griffin Rider and a Fogblade plus F0. So only three disruptions. We'll go ahead and do Terraforming, adding Meltdown. And as you can see, he drew Nib for turn, which, a little too late, but we'll do Meltdown, add Alistair the Invoker here. And then summon out Blue Sky. Blue Sky will trigger here. We will go ahead and trigger Fogblade, and then we'll go Alistair effect, detach F0 to negate and take control. And yeah, the Invoked player has seen enough there. We'll just go into game 2 there. Yeah, basically went to go full combo. No hand traps for the Invoked player, who did have evenly matched, but it didn't matter because the Omni negate was there, so you had to deal with it. So yeah, now we'll go into game 2 here. Now that both players know what they are versing against. And obviously, we're going to have the Invoked Mekk-Knight player go first. There's no way you let Phantom Knights go first here. Taking a look at the hands, we'll start with the Phantom Knight player, who drew Dasher, Fusion Destiny, Wielder, Lancia, and the Dracoback Steed. Yeah, it's like a somewhat brick. You still need, you need another level 3 to really break yourself here. And then for the Invoked Mekk-Knight player, we got Pot of Prosperity, a Nibiru, Punishment, Nadir Servant, and a Ecclesia. So we'll go ahead and we'll go standby main phase here. We'll go ahead and activate Prosperity, banishing 3 for cost. Don't know why the Phantom Knight player didn't just shotgun Lancia, but punish there, I guess. Well, we'll actually add Ash Blossom off to 3 sends here. And then we'll go ahead and do Nadir Servant, send App Cologne to get Maximus from deck. And then we'll go ahead and do App Clone, sending the Shadal Schism here. And then we'll, now the Phantom Knight player does trigger Lancia. We'll go Normal Summon Ecclesia, trigger the effect to add Fleur de Lis here. And then we'll go ahead and just set one and pass. Maximus can't be activated because Lancia is active on the field. Phantom Knight player does draw into a level 3 Torn Scales here. We'll go Normal Summon Torn Scales, Special Summon Wielder. And then we'll go ahead and go into a Link to make a Cherubini. And then we'll go Dogmatic Punishment, target the Cherubini, can't really protect it there. We'll send Construct, trigger Construct effect. And the Phantom Knight player has seen enough as well. Even though he had the Fusion Destiny, he still had to deal with, Maximus, Fleur de Lis coming in next turn as well, whatever his top deck might have been too. Construct was about to pick up something as well. Just not enough for the Phantom Knight player to deal with. So he just decides just to go to Game 3. So we had 2 quick games, but Game 3, I can guarantee you, is long. We have a really interesting Game 3 here. But yes, the first 2 games were pretty fast. Phantom Knight player will choose to go first here. And then we'll take a look at their starting hands real quick. Phantom Knight player has the Ancient Cloak, Silent Boots, Rite of Amnesia, Stained Greaves, and a Fusion Destiny. Not a bad open for Phantom Knights. And then for the Invoked player, we got the evenly matched Forbidden Droplet, Fusion Destiny, Imperm, and Ash Blossom, which you can say is a very good going second hand. Depends on what that next card is for the Invoke player. We'll start off with the Rite of Armesier to summon out the Adventurer token here. I might be switching up between OCG and TCG names here. Still trying to get used to the TCG names for this archetype. We'll go to Journey of Destiny. Journey of Destiny will trigger on the normal summon of the Ancient Cloak here to add the Draco back, the Rideable Dragon. Then we'll trigger Journey of Destiny to get Griffin Rider. Then we'll discard the Draco back equipped to the token, and then special Griffin Rider. He kind of just sped up the process here. And then we'll go ahead and do Silent Boots effect here to go into a Link 2 of Cherubini. We'll trigger Cherubini effect, sending Torn Scales for cost here. Then we'll trigger Ancient Cloak effect here to get ourselves a Ragged Gloves, because we already have the Stained Greaves in hand here. And then we'll go ahead and trigger the Torn Scales in Graveyard. Then Torn Scales effect on field, Stained Greaves, my bad, we'll trigger here. Then Torn Scales effect will discard Gloves, and then send Wings from deck. Then we'll go into a Link 3 of Rusty Bardiche. Trigger the Rusty Bardiche here, sending the Torn Scales, setting the Fog Blade. Then we'll go Wings effect here to summon out another Torn Scales. Overlay, make a Leviair, trigger Leviair of the Sea Dragon's effect to special summon out the Ancient Cloak again. And then we'll go ahead and go into a Link 2 of Artifact Dagda. And then we'll go ahead and activate Fusion Destiny to get... then we'll actually chain Dagda to it to set Scythe. And then we'll send Celestial Dasher to special summon Enforcer here. So the Scythe lock is set up, but let's see if he can get it out with a Droplet in the Invoke player's hand. End phase will trigger Fusion Enforcer effect, popping himself in Dagda, then triggering Enforcer's effect in Grave. Passing back to the Invoke player, who draws Meltdown for turn, so, got something. We'll go Enforcer in the standby, trigger its effect, and then that will get Droplet, sending the Ash and Imperm, negating Wanderer and Enforcer. So basically just a Fog Blade is really what he has to play through here, which, isn't terrible. We'll just immediately go to battle, though. We'll trigger that evenly matched, and that is going to be really punishing here. The Phantom Knight player will banish everything except for the token, which is very surprising to me. I think maybe you would keep Enforcer here, just so you know. But, he does just keep the token instead, though. We'll go ahead and activate Magical Meltdown, trigger the effect of Meltdown to get Alistair the Invoker, and then we'll go ahead and normal summon Alistair, trigger its effect to go ahead and get Invocation, trigger Invocation, banishing Alistair and Dagda from the Phantom Knight player's graveyard. Go into a Mekaba, invoked in graveyard, shuffle its shelf back, and adding Alistair to hand. Then trigger Fusion Destiny, just having just everything right there. Go banish, sending Celestial, sending Dasher, summon out the Enforcer here, and then we'll go Enforcer effect, pop the token and the Enforcer, and then trigger Enforcer effect in the graveyard. And we'll pass back to the Phantom Knight player, who draws into Rhoda. Not bad, especially with graveyard setup right now. Enforcer comes back in the standby. We'll go main phase, trigger the effect of Ancient Cloak here to get ourselves a Silent Boots from a deck. And then we'll go ahead and trigger Torn Scales effect here, special summoning himself out. And then we'll go ahead and activate Rhoda's effect here to get an Ancient Cloak from deck. And then we'll go ahead and special summon out the Silent Boots. And then we'll go ahead and go into an overlay into Breaksword here, which is very not good. Enforcer does have to trigger here, but Breaksword will still get its effect to special summon out 2 other Phantom Knights. Enforcer will trigger as a Chain Link 2, though. So we'll summon out the Torn Scales and the Silent Boots here. We'll go into a Link 2, we'll go ahead and make Verte and Akonda, and then we'll normal summon the Ancient Cloak. We'll banish 4 Celestials effect, banishing himself and Dasher, and then we'll trigger Mekaba on that to negate the draw, which is fine. Should a little bit of graveyard, but not going to be much after that. We'll do a glove, sending Fogblade, and then Fogblade effects, summon out the Breaksword, and then we'll go into a Link 3, make ourselves a Unicorn, and then go Link 4, make an Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker will target the Unicorn to summon out, and then we'll banish Unicorn to get rid of Mekaba. Attack for 5,300. But we'll not really much after that. We'll get a Fogblade here, which is basically the only interruption. But anything would do it. The Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall is the draw here. We'll get the Enforcer or Dasher effect in the standby to summon out the Nightfall. And then standby will summon out the Enforcer here. And then we'll go ahead and do the Celestial effect to get the draw 2 here. Nothing to that. We'll draw into Blue Sky and Pankratops, which are both currently dead. Kind of need any spell or trap to kind of do it with a Mekk-Knight there. But both cards are basically dead in hand, and a Fogblade might as well do it here. We'll go ahead and he does think here. We'll do Nightfall's effect to get ourselves Red Moon into rotation. And then we'll go ahead and honestly just kind of screws. That Fogblade's going to do enough. Enforcer effect, chain Fogblade to the Enforcer. And man, can't really do anything about that. So with that, just going to pass turn back to the Phantom Knight player, who draws into Tracker. Again, the graveyard's set up. It doesn't really need to do much. We'll just banish Verte for Access Code Talker, get rid of the Enforcer, and attack for lethal. That is your match there. Very interesting match. The game 3 was very interesting, especially with the Invoked breaking the Phantom Knight's board and stuff like that. Just could not get into anything. That's just kind of one of the downfalls with Mekk-Knights. If they don't play into it, kind of really sucks. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.